Zoning Commission. It is now 7 p.m., and if everyone would join me, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call vote, please, Rudy.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Here.
Commissioner Heck.
Present.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Kreidler.
Here.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Here.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Here, present.
Commissioner Uli.
Here.
7 present. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion for consideration of approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler.
Yes.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Yes.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
So moved, Madam Chair.
We'll move on to approval of the minutes. No date? Do we have no minutes?
We don't have any minutes
Yeah.
that are completed yet to put on
Okay.
there, so.
We will move on to public hearings then. The first public hearing is a presentation, discussion, public hearing, and consideration of the possible revocation of case CUP-9-17 for non-compliance with certain conditions.
Madam Chair, thank you. Rudy Esquiva, Senior Planner. We don't have a presentation this evening, Madam Chair. There are negotiations and discussions going on several matters related to the Hitching Post at the request. And in your packets, you have a letter from Mr. Mohiuddin's attorney requesting that this matter be continued, and also the Board of Adjustment matter. So we respectfully request that you continue this case until the May 14, 2019 meeting. Hopefully, all legal issues will be resolved by then. This meeting had originally been scheduled for March 12th, so we're coming to you a little bit early, and we propose to keep everybody notified of all current public hearing dates through another mailing. But once again, Madam Chair, we respectfully request that you continue this matter until May 14th.
So you want a motion then?
We have to have a public hearing.
We do,
Oh.
we do
Set
need to
up
have
for
a
a public
public hearing
hearing.
since the matter
Because
was
it's
adver-
already scheduled.
No, actually, no, it was not advertised.
Huh?
It was not advertised for this date.
It was advertised for the March.
Right.
believe.
Right, and for this, it's not, so,
Actually, it was continued, I apologize. I think it was continued
Yes.
from
Yes.
the
Yeah.
last date, so, but that acts as a public hearing.
Yeah.
so this is,
Joel,
It's under public hearing, though, so I think you need to just open it up, see if anybody wants to speak, and then close it, and then do the motion.
okay. And the applicant, is that you, Mo? Okay. Do you have anything you wish to? Okay. I will open this up, excuse me. I'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who would like to come and speak on this item? No one? Okay, I'll close the public portion. Is there anybody who wishes to ask or discuss or anything? Okay. Then I'll call for a motion to continue this hearing to May 14th.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the Apache Junction Planning and Zoning Commission continue and reschedule the possible revocation of conditional use permit CUP 917. A conditional use permit granted by the City Council of Mehmood Mohiuddin, represented by Aaron Ludwig, from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting date of March 12, 2019, to the P&Z Commission meeting of May 14, 2019. And furthermore, staff is hereby directed to send notices of the new public hearing date to all property owners within 300 feet of the Hitching Post subject property.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Who started?
Second.
You said, okay, Steve said, seconded. We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler.
Before I vote, I just want to make it clear that my name had been slandered as far as
having a conflict of interest in this particular case. And as it was directed in our last P and Z meeting, as far as going over the different conflict of interests, I do not have any conflict of interest because there is no pecuniary relationship whatsoever between myself and the Hitching Post. So my vote will be yes.
Okay.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Yes.
7 in favor, motion passes, Madam Chair. This item is continued until your meeting of May 14th.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item, which is presentation, discussion, public hearing, and consideration of case PZ-2-18 by Amerco Real Estate Company and U-Haul International LLC, represented by David Pollock, proposing to rezone 50 acres of a 78-acre property at the, that's enough.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Once again, Rudy Esquivia, Senior Planner. Madam Chair, this item has also been requested for a continuance to your April 16th meeting, discussions and not negotiation, but discussions continue regarding right-of-way issues and ultimate palette of uses. So we have received, and once again, in your packets, you have a copy of the letter from Mr. Pollock requesting the item be continued. And once again, we respectfully request that you continue this item, the rezoning case PZ-218, until your meeting of April 16, 2019.
Actually,
Rudy?
if I may, I'm sorry.
April
Rudy,
9th.
before, this says April 9th?
Yeah, you don't mean April 16th, that's a
April 16th.
council, that's a
Yeah,
council
city
night.
council.
Oh, I'm sorry, April 9.
Okay, just wanted to verify that. Okay, this is another, do we have a public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, anybody here to represent U-Haul? Do you have anything you'd like to say? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak on this item? Any comments? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing, and does anyone have any comments, questions, anything? Okay, I'll call for a motion.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission continue Plan Development Rezoning Case PZ-218, a request by Amerco Real Estate Company, represented by David Pollock, to the commission meeting of April 9th, 2019.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Yes.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler.
Yes.
So moved, Madam Chair. This item is continued until April 9th.
Okay. We'll move on to old business, and we have a possible reconsideration of vice chair election and appointment.
Madam Chair, we did, I think, perfect this last night at the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, so we have a new script in front of you, and perhaps that caused some of it last time, I don't know. But I don't know if everybody's had a chance. I think we just set it up there tonight. So I think it kind of goes through a better flow so that the chair asks for nominations, and then to open up the nominations, there's a roll call vote, a vote to open up nominations, then there's a call to nominate someone. Then the chair does their thing 3 times, and then a motion to close the nominations. So there's a lot of motions going on here. And then the chair asks for a second, and there's a roll call vote to close the nominations, and then at that point, someone would make a chair to move forward a certain person's name and then vote on that. Is that hopefully more helpful?
Still confusing.
Yeah. Still
We need to-
confusing, but
We
hopefully
need to
more.
change Robert's rules.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm not sure how we can go with any type of reconsideration, seeing how we have no minutes to refer back to from the last meeting, but at this point, I think we just need to let it stand as is.
Madam Chair, if I may, you don't need minutes. There was a motion for reconsideration Mr. Heck made at the end of the last meeting, and that was approved. So you may go forward as if the first vote didn't even happen on the vice chair.
Madam
Because
Chair,
the-
Madam Chair, I disagree with that 100%. We followed protocol in the last meeting, and the vote was taken. So at this point, I don't see any point of reconsideration. It was voted on legally, and it's a done deal. So at this point, I'm going to make a motion to keep things as it stands, as it was voted on in the last meeting. Now, if we would have had the motion, actually, we'll just leave it at that.
Well, it's my understanding that the.
There's a motion on the floor, Madam Chair.
Actually, there isn't. You didn't call for a motion.
The parties, I'm not sure the wording I'm looking for, the not opposing party, but anyone who voted at the last time who voted yes has the right to bring this up for reconsideration, correct?
And that was done at the last meeting.
And that was done at the last meeting, and
the end of the
that's
last-
per Robert's rules.
That's correct.
So,
Procedurally, you're fine.
since it was brought up for possible reconsideration, we have to proceed with that, no matter how, that's up to you and anyone else how they vote.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
we're still following protocol. I'm just saying that I don't see the need in reconsidering because we followed protocol at the last meeting. And the vote was taken, and the vote should stand as it was.
It may be
And if we
so,
did
but
have the minutes from the last meeting, and I disagree with the city attorney on that, if we did have the minutes to refer back to, then we could see exactly what happened. Once again, this proves my point in that we need accurate depiction of the meeting, each minutes from each meeting, as it's stated in the ARS, in the revised statutes, 38-431.01.
well,
And it says in section 4, an accurate description of all legal actions proposed, discussed, or taken, including a record of how each member voted. The minutes shall also include the names of the members who propose each motion, the names of the persons as given, who make statements or present material to the public body, and a reference to the legal action about which they made statements or presented materials. Because we don't have those minutes in place, we cannot actually have a good possible or good reconsideration or discussion about what took place at the last meeting.
well, I'm going to say, since I was here at the last meeting and I remember what happened at the last meeting, whether we have minutes to look at or not, my recollection is that I know what happened. And since our city attorney is the body who gives us advice, and he has said we should proceed, I'm going to proceed, and that will be up to you if you wish to appeal this in some way. So I'm going to call for a motion to open the nomination for the 2019 vice chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I want to nominate Commissioner McGraw for
okay.
vice chair.
And I will call for a second.
You're calling open the nomination.
No, I'm calling to open the nominations.
I-
So we are not calling for
Let's
a
call for the
nomination.
opening of the nomination.
Opinations. Is that your motion to open the
That is my motion to open the nominations.
So you want to open the nominations then?
At this point, I'd prefer not to. I don't see the need for it, but
Do
let's go
you
with it.
wish to open
Let's
it?
go with it. That's what I
Okay, we
said.
have a motion. Do we have a
motion to
second?
proceed.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Kreidler.
Yes.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Yes?
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes,
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
7 in favor of opening the nominations, Madam Chair.
okay, now I will call for a nomination, a
Madam
motion, a motion for a nomination.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I move and make a nomination that Commissioner McGraw be voted in as the vice chair.
okay, we have a nomination. Do we have any other nominations?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I nominate Peter Heck.
Okay, do we have any other nominations? Do we have any other nominations? I will close the nominations, and I will call for a second to that nomination, those nominations.
Actually, yeah, you need a
Madam
motion.
Chair, I move that we
Pardon?
close the nominations.
You need a motion to close the nomination.
Yeah, that's what, oh,
Madam Chair.
we already had a second. I'm sorry. I call
Motion
for
to
a roll
close.
call to vote to close the nominations. Right?
Madam Chair, I move that the nominations for vice chair be closed.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Oh, this is confusing at best.
You're doing fine.
We need a vote, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler made the nomination made the motion to close?
No, Shirley made the motion to close.
Shirley made a close and Peter made a second.
I'm sorry, okay.
I seconded it.
Okay, other way around.
All right, Vice Chair McGraw.
Yeah, really. Pardon?
To close,
I'm sorry, okay, so we had a
What are we
motion
vo- what are we voting?
motion to close,
by Commissioner Heck to close the nomination, seconded by Commissioner Uli.
Now we need a roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call to close the nomination.
To
Vice
close.
Chair McGraw.
Is this the closed nomination?
This is to close.
Yes.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler.
yes.
7, motion passes, Madam Chair.
Now I call, what am I calling for?
Madam Chair,
It says to approve, but we're calling for a vote,
Madam
right?
Chair, you asked for a motion to approve in the order that they were nominated.
Okay,
first
so
would be Mr.
I'm calling for a motion to approve
McGraw.
Commissioner McGraw as the vice chair. Do we need a second on that then? And then a vote? Okay, does someone,
Madam Chair, I move, or I motion that, make a motion to,
no, I already made it.
She made
Oh,
the
I
motion.
called for a motion. You're making the motion. Sorry.
to initiate the vote for Commissioner McGraw for vice chair.
Do I have a second? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
I'm sorry, who's the second?
This is,
Okay. Commissioner Kreidler.
Yes.
Vice Chair McGraw.
Yeah.
Chairwoman Nesser.
no.
Commissioner Uli.
No.
Commissioner Hanchey.
I'm gonna abstain. I don't have enough information.
Actually,
You
if
can't.
I may,
You have to wonder the.
you'd have to declare conflict of interest, and then you could,
Well, I don't have a conflict.
then you have to vote. Otherwise, it would
I
be,
just don't,
if you don't vote, then it's,
I'm trying to understand why we're changing it. I mean,
then if
That
you don't
happens.
vote, it's considered that a yes.
a vote. Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
No.
Commissioner Howard.
No.
So 3 in favor, 4 against. The nomination fails, Madam Chair. So that leaves.
So I move back,
The next one.
Go to the next one, yeah.
I'll call for a motion to approve Peter Heck as vice chair. Do we have a motion?
You need a second.
No, we need a motion. I just
Oh,
called
okay,
for a
yeah,
motion.
Sorry.
Madam Chair?
Even you're confused.
I is getting there, huh?
Yes,
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I put forward a motion to approve Peter Heck as the vice chair.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Howard.
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler.
No.
Commissioner McGraw, Vice Chair McGraw.
No.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heck.
Yes.
Congratulations, Commissioner Heck. You are our new vice chair.
5-2.
5 to 2 vote.
Do we have any information and reports?
Well, we have a new business item, Madam Chair, number 8. We have
Oh, I'm
a
sorry.
staff
Sorry.
initiated rezoning.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, the new rezoning.
Presentation, discussion, and direction to staff on proposed request for a city-initiated rezoning of the area bounded by West Foothill Street, North Desert View Drive, West Smoke Tree Street, and North Warner Drive from medium-density, single-family detached residential to medium-high-density, single-family detached residential.
Hi, good evening. My name is Juliana Pierre, and I'm the planning intern, and I will be discussing this city-initiated rezoning from RS20M to RS7M.
You can bend that thing over to you.
Okay. The properties being considered in the rezoning are located in the northwest portion of Apache Junction and are bounded by West Foothill Street to the north North Desert View Drive to the east, West Smoke Tree Street to the south, and North Warner Drive to the west. The current zoning for all the subject sites is RS20M. When the city of Apache Junction was incorporated, the original zoning applied to this area was TH, Trailer Home Site Zone. However, in 2014, when the city adopted new zoning ordinances and new zoning district maps, the properties were given a new zoning designation of RS20M, which is their current zoning. RS20M is medium-density, single-family detached residential for both manufactured and conventional housing. This particular zoning calls for a minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet. The properties surrounding these subject sites are zoned RS20M, RSGR, General Rural Low Density Single Family Detached Residential, and MHP, Manufactured Home Park. Staff has observed that the majority of these setbacks and lot sizes in the neighborhood are non-conforming under the current zoning of RS20M. The lot sizes average about 9,000 square feet, which automatically makes all of the lots non-conforming. The rezoning from RS20M to RS7M will correct and/or alleviate the nonconformities and return the setbacks and current lot sizes from the current sizes and distances to those more closely matching the original zoning of TH. Planning staff seeks the Commission's direction to proceed with the city-initiated rezoning request of the Northwest City neighborhood from medium-density, single-family detached residential, RS20M, to medium-high-density, single-family detached residential, RS7M. And our recommended motion can be found in the staff report. And then if we have any questions or discussion.
Anyone have any questions?
Yes, I do, Madam Chair.
Yes.
What is the Northwest neighborhood that you're talking about that made this request?
I actually don't know the neighborhood.
So this is not the neighborhood that requested it. Over time, the city has just observed. We were gonna do this with a different intern about 1.5 years ago. We never got around to it. So essentially, all these lots, as Juliana said, are non-conforming. So it's the city staff that's bringing forth the rezoning initiative. So the next steps would be, if you approve this tonight, then we would reach out to these neighbors, because we haven't talked to them yet. We do think it will benefit them. We have done a couple other, what I would call comprehensive rezonings for some neighborhoods. We did it along Ironwood about 6 or 8 months ago. We also did it on Main and I want to say Ocotillo in 2 subdivisions that were platted back in the 50s. So I think as part of the new zoning code in 2014 and a new map, it got put on as 20,000 square foot lots, but essentially all the lots are about 9,000 square feet. So we do think that if the folks don't like it, we certainly won't bring it forth in an ordinance, but the next step, as we've done in the past, is have some neighborhood meetings, let folks know what's going on. They'll get a letter, we'll explain everything, and then we'll find a meeting place up in that area and talk with everybody, and before we bring back an ordinance, and we would certainly meet with them and bring back an ordinance for Plan Commission and Council consideration.
Thank you, Larry.
Larry, I had 2 questions, and I'll give them to you both, and you can answer them all together.
I'm going to let Juliana answer them, maybe.
Okay, well, the 2 questions are, what specifically are some of the non-conforming issues, and what is the benefit, specific benefits to, I'm just curious, to this neighborhood to rezone?
Well, the lot sizes will be reduced, just like we have, I mean, not the setbacks. So the setbacks in 20M, Rudy can inform me what they are, I don't remember off the top of my head, but 7M will have more relaxed side yard, rear yard setbacks. And then number 1 is, every one of these lots is technically non-conforming. Again, this is one of those large 10 acre, is it 10 acres, Rudy? That was federal land. The feds came in and created this 10 acre parcel. It subsequently got subdivided. As you see, everybody accesses properties either off one of these 4 streets or via some private easement. So it's not the cleanest thing in the world. If somebody were to start over, they would never, you know, create something like this. But in terms of some of these, like say, and I'll just zoom in here, maybe this one will never meet the rear yard setback or side yard setback, but maybe there's some others that will. You know, right now, if someone came in for a permit, what we try to do is we say, well, you have to bring everything into, if you had unpermitted structures, then they'd have to meet setbacks, et cetera. This may help folks that want to do a project. Now they know what the more relaxed setbacks are, and they could actually improve their property.
Okay.
So that's kind of the benefit I see, or we see.
I have one other little question, and I wasn't able to get over there because I've been busy the last weekend. But how do these people, what do? Just drive through each other's yards to get to where they
They're
live?
private easements. They're private easements, and they're recorded access ways. And then I think over time, they really almost become what might be called a prescriptive easement.
Okay,
That
but
if
my,
someone's been driving through there for 35 years, they
yeah,
kinda
I
have a
understand
right
that,
to
but
do
basically, they're just driving through each other's yards to get, the center guy here, he drives anybody's yard he wants to get there. So, my other little question was, there's not gonna be any requirements that they have to put in driveways or anything, is there
No,
specifically?
this is just a
It'll
rezoning, simple rezoning. That's,
Okay.
we're not forcing anybody. And we have a couple of these where there's street signs, and there really shouldn't be. These are really private drives, if you want to call them that. So we're not going to be paving any roads or
Okay.
creating street names. We're just cleaning up really what the underlying zoning was back when it was TH, back
Okay.
when it was the county, to what we think is more reasonable zoning for these folks.
Okay,
Madam Chair, if I may add, I actually have talked to some of these people in the neighborhood. It's been about a year and a half now. But, for example, a couple of mobile home installers had problems getting homes on the lots because the new setbacks on their RS20M are more restrictive than they were under the old TH zone. For example, that unit there that you see that's angled in.
Which one are you?
That was an unfortunate result of trying to apply the RS20M
That one.
standards
Yeah.
to a neighborhood that was inadvertently rezoned to a larger lot size and greater setbacks.
okay.
You asked the questions I was going to
Oh.
ask. Very good.
It's like, this didn't give us a lot of information, and I'm looking at that picture, and it's like, where's the driveways?
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I did take the opportunity to drive around the area, refamiliarize myself with that part of the city. And it's, as Larry said, all with the private easements, these are dirt roads, essentially, dirt drives going in and out. My question, though, is where are the benefits for the city, other than getting everything into conformity, and where are the benefits for the citizens? And what are any potential negatives that are involved in this? Or are there any?
I don't know that per se you could say there's specific benefits that the city would receive. I think most of the benefit is for the homeowner, as Rudy indicated, where folks can now do a project that they anticipated they couldn't meet the setbacks, or again, say someone has a unfortunate, windstorm, fire, whatever it may be, they're trying to replace a model, mobile home, manufactured home back on the property, and now some of these things are bigger, can't meet setbacks. I think it would allow someone to pull out a home, put in a new one, replace a home, et cetera, et cetera.
I did hear you mention that, so that did answer one of my questions, and the other one was, is this gonna make, for resale for all these folks here, is that gonna make a better resale
Yes.
situation for them?
Well, oftentimes, whether, a lender may look at nonconformities, and sometimes they're problematic. Again, we can't fix everything with this rezoning. If somebody built a building without a permit, this doesn't fix that. But we had, again, in those other subdivisions, where the setbacks were 5, I think we changed some to 3, something like that, to kind of grandfather in some of those other buildings. But if someone has 2 houses on a property, which I don't see any, but say they did, this doesn't fix that. It doesn't, change the use of the property to where they're, now can do something that they couldn't. The only thing it really just Everybody will have a 7,000 square foot minimum lot size. I don't think we'll see any more land divisions here where someone puts a bunch of lots together, re-subdivides it. But I do think, I think we're just helping the folks become more conforming. And again, this isn't gonna solve everything, but I think probably 80% of issues that would come up, it would solve.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Larry, do we have many more
Yes.
of this?
We have lots of 10-acre cells that look like this, but I don't know that we have any that are, I don't know if you would call it miszoned or zoned improperly, or, you know, as part of that rezoning process back in 2014. There's a few others that look like this, but I don't know that the underlying zoning is a problem. If we come across them, we would certainly bring them forward. We're not gonna, you know, permanently trap somebody in a zoning district that really doesn't work for them if we.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this picture, and some of these buildings seem to be encroaching on somebody else's 7,000 square feet. Is that going to be
Like
an
this
issue?
one right here?
Well, so these parcel lines are not survey lines.
But
So we get our parcel data from Salt River Project. So it'd be nice if the county assessor had accurate lot lines. So these aren't, you know, 100%, you couldn't, you know, do a survey off of these. So just so you know that those lines are approximate, the parcel lines. So, yeah, there may be encroachments. We certainly saw that in those other neighborhoods. People were selling the back 10 feet of their lot. We were trying to prevent that over on Main and Ocotillo. So this, like I said, isn't gonna solve everything. So sure, there could be lots of encroachments across property lines.
So
But
will
it
they-
kind of is what it is.
Will they adjust to compensate for that encroachment so that you don't have all these legal issues? Or is it all going to stay, every one of these plots are going to be the same size?
We're not changing the lot size. We're not changing anything regarding somebody encroaching on someone else's property. All we're doing is changing it from RS20 to RS20M to RS7M.
Isn't that up to them to go straighten it out with their neighbors and go through the county?
Yeah, that would be a private civil matter if somebody bought a house and found out where their lot line was as part of that purchase, and then they see a building encroaching, and can guarantee there's encroachments going on and stuff that doesn't meet setbacks. Again, some of this may have happened in the 60s, 70s, before we were a city.
Yeah.
So this is futures. This is looking in the future to make sure that when new buildings do come in, at least they stay within the boundaries that have been set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, I have two little questions for you, Larry. Where'd it go?
I want a question for
That,
Juliana.
that middle row, okay, whoever, that middle row, second from the bottom, and it's on the other drawing that doesn't have the houses, that's the actual picture. What's that, how did that happen? That thing?
That little sliver.
That could be a parcel that the assessor has for some reason. I don't know. I mean, we would have to go back and look up the deeds and see how that transferred. Whether someone created, you know, you actually have 4 houses coming in off that. Well, you have 8 houses, if you will, coming in off that dirt lane. And how and why that is, we'd have to research it. I really don't know the answer.
We as a city, though, it's not us to worry about. I mean, if they don't want to do something about it, then they don't do something about it.
I suspect somebody tried to create an easement and.
An easement, yeah.
Okay,
it looked
an
like
easement,
an
okay.
easement.
The other one is in the second row, fourth one down. What is all that?
That's
Second
what I
one,
was about
this
to
one here,
It's a
Yeah.
car dealership?
that's probably,
Yeah,
It looks like a boat.
Wait,
City code violation.
junkyard.
It looks like
Yeah,
a junkyard.
it's a definite junkyard that's a code violation.
Yeah, looks like a junkyard.
Are you gonna go
we're
in
not
and tell them to
allowed,
clear
we
it?
haven't been able to use aerial photography, you know, to start code cases. So you really have to see it from the street or some vantage point.
But there is no street, so how would you ever see it?
Well, there you go.
That's why it's.
Well,
That's why it's
There's
there.
path.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
so again, it would be a neighbor's complaint. We could send them a letter saying, because that parcel, I don't think has a house on it.
It doesn't
So-
look like a house, and the next one there next to it is vacant, so those people aren't gonna complain about it. And
Right.
they probably live in the lot that's to the right of it,
Right.
or one of the other ones, so,
They might own it.
What a mess.
Yeah, the purpose of this process is not to go out and do a gotcha on anybody
Okay.
either, so, it just, you can use Google Earth as you wish around the city, and you may see lots of these.
Okay,
But again, we have to have like a date stamped photo if we were ever, Joel could weigh in here, but just using Google Earth does not get us to prove something in court, because it could change. If that's taken in February and we try to take somebody in July, things have changed, could change, so. And we can't rely on the actual date. They'd have to sign some sort of statement or affidavit from Google that, yes, this photo was taken on such and such a date, such and such a time, so we just haven't gone there yet. We got lots and lots of code cases that we can pursue without trying to pursue one that might
Yeah,
not bear fruit.
I
so.
got you. Somebody else called,
I
okay.
got a question. By changing this, would it make anybody that isn't currently in zone fall out of zone? Like, this new rule, would it make anybody become non-compliant? I understand there might be some now that are non-compliant, but would this new one make any new non-compliant issues?
I can't think of any, how that would work, because again, the setbacks are more relaxed, if you will, in the RS7 versus
Gives it
RS20.
more leeway.
I just
It's
wanted to
just
make
like
sure. And it
that
doesn't-
second house right down here on the first row, second from the bottom. He's gonna be out of compliance no matter what.
Right, and I understand that. I mean, he may existingly be out of compliance, but the new rule wouldn't make somebody that isn't in compliance out of compliance.
Well, probably not.
If they're already out of compliance,
they're
they'll
already-
stay
If
out
they're out of
compliance.
compliance, they're gonna be out of compliance.
But
It's
they're
just
already
gonna
out.
make a few of them
Right.
in
Right.
compliance.
I just want to make sure it's not negatively impacting anybody, putting them out of compliance with the new zone.
You know, I can't say that 100%, but I would say most definitely, most folks are going to be more compliant with the zoning than the other way around.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a circumstance where they, by changing this, it would make someone
No,
non.
because they'd already be out of compliance.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
however, I will point out, even if that's the case, Commissioner, they'd get something called lawful nonconforming rights.
yeah.
So you can't go after them just because we changed their zone. If they did
They'll
that,
be
they,
grandfathered in.
that's another
That's
layperson's way
different,
of
but they'll
saying it,
still,
correct.
if they're non-conforming, they're just gonna be non-conforming.
Okay.
Willie, did you have a question? Did I hear you?
No, the junkyard one was,
Car
Oh, we
dealership.
can't call it that. We
Oh,
don't
I'm
know that that's a
sorry.
junkyard.
Car dealership.
Yeah. Boat storage lot.
the mass of humanity there, I guess. I don't know what that is.
Grew up like Topsy on a toadstool. Does anybody else have any other questions? Boy, you got off easy. She's just standing there looking beautiful tonight. and- Yeah, we're kind the first time. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to information and reports.
Well, we need a motion, Madam Chair.
Oh, wait a minute, I didn't read it.
And there is a recommended motion in your staff report. Page
I didn't know,
2.
it didn't say you wanted a motion.
Yes,
Direction of
Joseph
staff.
Reed.
Okay, I'll call for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission direct staff to initiate a rezoning of the area bounded by West Foothill Street, North Desert View Drive, West Smoke Tree Street, and North Warner Drive from medium-density, single-family detached residential, that's RS-20M, to medium, high-density, single-family detached residential, that's RS-7M.
we have,
I
a mo-
fir-
oh,
No. I further move that staff take all actions necessary to meet the legal requirements set forth in state law regarding notification of this pending action.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Henke,
Yes.
Commissioner Heck,
Yes?
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler,
Yes.
Commissioner McGraw,
Yes.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes,
Commissioner Uli.
Yes.
So moved, Madam Chair. We'll schedule this for public hearings.
okay, we'll move on to the director's report, which is an update on the general plan.
I will try to keep this short. This is a slideshow some of you may be seeing or have seen, depending. We're trying to get the word out to a lot of various groups, so we've done this slideshow at various venues, and I'll just go through this real quickly. But we've named the plan at this point, unless somebody has a better name, Legendary Landscapes and Lifestyles, which we think that picture kind of says it all. So we'll just kind of talk in general about the general plans, some core values, the city's adopted vision and mission that the council has adopted, what the process is. We're doing some surveys. I'll let you know about some of what that says and some upcoming meetings and who we're trying to reach out here to. So again, every 10 years, this is the current future land use map that the city adopt by state statute, a general comprehensive long-range general plan for the city, and it is a guide, it's a blueprint for the city of how and where we want to grow. It is composed of, let me go to the vision and mission next. So the council, in part through the Youth Advisory Commission, came up with a vision statement and a mission statement. The city leadership has actually put that on some business cards, that Apache Junction is a diverse community of natural beauty and heritage, offers prosperity, compassion, and forward thinking to its residents, businesses, and visitors. And they're going to accomplish that through the mission, which is to focus on and invest in quality of life and planned improvements for serving residents, businesses, and visitors. So we do include these in the general plan. Again, these were adopted by the council and kind of help guide the community's thinking and develop the plan around a mission and vision. And other thing that other communities do is create some core values. Again, when we have 10, 12 elements of a general plan, we wanted to have some core values: safe and vibrant community, world-class natural experience, collaboration with other communities, creating a downtown and a place that people can recognize as a downtown, having a diverse economy with lots of different types of jobs and retail, commercial, office type environment, connected communities. Again, that's transportation planning. We just adopted the active transportation plan, but we also have to have a general circulation plan for the city. And then a sustainable community. And the city has been a leader in this building. This is a LEED certified building, so what will help AJ over the long term is to have a community that can grow and thrive and really not deplete more from the natural environment, but maybe add to that. So those are the kind of themes that we've heard. You know, the city every 2 years does a survey and a community, I'm trying to think of the name of the survey, it's online. I think there were 400 or so. We hired a firm, so every 2 years it costs money to go out and hire a company, and they do a community survey. And some of these themes have come up in that. We've heard some of these themes in the town halls that the council has had. We had an EPA infill workshop a number of years ago that we received a $50,000 project, if you will, with a consultant. So these aren't things we're just making up. These are things we've heard from the community through various events over the last couple years. So getting to the elements, some of these are required by state law based on your population size. Others we've added or combined. So again, environmental planning, a lot of these elements already exist in the current plan. We'll be updating those. Parks, rec, and open space, obviously. Neighborhood preservation, revitalization, housing. What does the city want to look like? How do we want to take on some issues like we just saw in that aerial photograph? How do we preserve, protect, and make neighborhoods more livable?
Is this public, this presentation you're showing?
Yes, we've been taking it around. We can certainly...
Resources is spelled wrong.
Oh,
Where's that?
you're ahead of me. Yeah, okay. I will correct that.
I'm sorry.
Downtown, spelled correctly. Economic development, spelled correctly. So then there's also elements for, libraries, police, fire service, et cetera. Circulation is traffic circulation. Water, resources.
Restore.
And then we have to, and it's weird that the kind of the next three elements kind of go together. What is our future growth area? It's really part of a land use thinking anyway, but the state calls it a growth area element. Cost of development, right now you might know that we are updating our impact fees, so you're supposed to kind of put some parameters around what development, how we're going to pay for the cost of new development. Land use, of course, and then intergovernmental coordination.
Okay.
So we've kind of broken this into 4 phases. We're really in phase 2.5, if you will, where we've gone through and looked at our demographic data, looked at the existing plans that we've adopted. What are the existing conditions? Again, the vision, mission, some of those core values. We have each departments where applicable. So Liz Langenbach, for example, in Parks and Rec, they're drafting the Park and Rec open space element. We'll work with the Park Board on that. Janine Solly and Elan are working on the economic development element. Mike Weaver from Public Works is doing traffic circulation. So we're doing this whole plan in-house. So many cities hire this out. Typically you're looking at $200,000 to $300,000 for the level of effort. I think if you looked at what Queen Creek or Gilbert, who just went through the process, we're doing this all in-house. So as part of that phase 2, phase 3 is listening to the public and what they have to say. Then trying to craft some goals and objectives and bring those back for your review in the council. So final review and ratification. I'll go through the schedule in a minute here. So part of the survey, I think we're up to about 450, almost 500 respondents. What we've said so far, or what we've heard so far, is that where we've asked questions, they want the city to be fiscally prudent, sustainable. Transit has come up. We don't have transit, but there's a need in the community for transit. There's not really a way to pay for it, but it certainly is a need. Folks want some housing choice in terms of mixed uses. Downtown, again, an entertainment restaurant corridor. They want new and vibrant businesses. Also, first-time home buyers, kind of change our housing mix. So we have a lot of, we're hearing feedback on, having a variety of choices for housing. Again, roads, and then land uses that create jobs. So housing, you can't have just a suburban bedroom community. You really need a community that's based on, where people, our commute shed, a lot of folks leave and go to work. So the idea that you could live and work in AJ is important. And again, community design. What does it look like? Can we improve overall on what our character of the city is? And then, again, I just wanted to, we've gone and we've done some outreach to a variety of groups. This is not us. This is a different community where we took that slide. But we have scheduled another public meeting. I know that we did a kickoff meeting a number of months ago, and a lot of you were there. We plan on taking this community input through surveys and try to present that. Again, still trying to identify what issues are important. And then a second public meeting in June, and then we were talking in August, September, October, bringing the plan before this group. What was happened in the past was we'd bring a couple elements to you at a time. And the goal is to have this adopted in February 4th of 2020. There is some whisperings of the legislature actually changing. So in Arizona, this plan has to be adopted, or it has to go on the ballot. It has to be adopted by the council, and then it goes on the ballot for a public vote. And so there is some discussion of changing the regular August election date. If they move it up, that means out of our control, but if we want to stay on schedule and have this thing adopted and ratified by the voters, if you will, in August, could end up being June, and then that one, instead of February, then we'd be talking probably November, December for the council to adopt it. According to the city clerk, it takes about 8 months, if you've been part of the election process, to create the publication that it gets mailed out to all the residents when there's, like we just did, the permanent base adjustment. That education voter pamphlet takes about 8 months to put together. So whenever the election is, back up 8 months, and we have to have this thing adopted by the council. So again, trying to get outreach. So far, we have a number of other things coming up, but the city has a homeless coalitions. We've made 5 or 10 minute presentations to each of these groups. Today, we went to the Focal Point and Tourism Committee. Last week, we went to the CLI and did, again, just a little 5-minute presentation. So we're continuing to do that. If there's a group that you know of that you think might want to hear us talk for only 10 minutes, and tell you where the link is to the survey. We really want to close that survey down by March 20th or probably March 15th, so we can tabulate that, so we can present that at the March 20th open house. And I can answer any questions, if there are any.
Anybody?
This is the survey link. Basically, if you go to ajcity.net, that's our homepage, ajcity.net. If you do backslash GP 2020, that takes you to the city website, and I can do that right now if you want me to, but you can only take this survey once, so it's, we know people aren't going to remember that link. So if you go to ajcity.net backslash GP 2020, we've created like a page for the general plan. Tomorrow night, we're going to have just a little table at the state of the city. So we'll have a little table, we'll have some surveys people can take there. Friday night and Saturday will be at the Marathon Expo. We did that last year for the active transportation plan. Didn't talk to a lot of people. I think it created awareness. Maybe 50, 60 people got to fill out surveys. And we did auction off a bike last year for that thing, so that helped. But so we'll probably do some gift cards or something, like a raffle to get people to fill out the survey. So most of the folks that are filling out the survey are city residents, it seems. I know it's open, that link is open to anyone. Initially, the folks taking the survey were mostly all over 65, and we're trying to bring that age bracket down. As you saw, we did present to the Youth Advisory Commission, and letting younger folks who are going to be around here a lot longer than us have community input into the plan as well.
Larry, did you ever think to put it on the marquee?
I need
So
to do
you
that.
could go to SurveyMonkey and vote on the general plan
Or
and.
just the GP 2020 or
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
GP 2020, and why not go to the high school, junior high and high school?
Well, we are. It's not on this list, but Bryant Powell got us to go to the school board. I think it's going to be in April, though. I have to double check, but I don't have the whole list of where we're reaching out to, but we are going to do this same 5-minute slideshow at the school
Okay,
district,
good,
school board
excellent.
as well. And again, getting the youth advisory council involved and getting them to spread the word among their peers and Instagram and whatnot as well. And we have, if you read in the paper, Al Bravo, the city's PIO, has, that week, I think we got 200 survey responses from folks that saw the article in the newspaper. So we want to do that again in the next week or so as well.
Okay, good. Questions, comments? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Selection of meeting dates, times, location, and purpose. Somebody want to make a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting on February 26th, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion. Who made the second?
Second.
Steve made the second. Roll call vote?
Commissioner Uli,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanchey,
Yes.
Vice Chair Heck,
Yes?
Commissioner Howard,
Yes.
Commissioner Kreidler,
Yes.
Commissioner McGraw,
Yes.
Chairwoman Nesser.
Yes.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, we'll adjourn this meeting unless anyone has any objections at 7:54.